49. The last president inaugurated in the United States. The span of terrible days after the global comms blackout when the world was reshaped. The number of strange supernatural phenomena that appear around the globe. You're listening to The 49, the new series by Andrew Kooman. Get the content right in your inbox when you subscribe at the49.substack.com. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Welcome to the world of The 49.
It always drained him, made him shiver. The showrunner made sure someone was waiting with a robe to cover him and give him a cup of coffee when he stepped out of the room. "We haven't had a screamer in a while," the production manager said, the one he didn't recognize. Diaz took the coffee from her and thanked her. "That will land on the highlight reels for sure." "You ready to go after your coffee?" Diaz nodded. It was an unusually busy day. The courts, the clique-driven body that postured as a justice system in the new order of Corridor West, was clearing a backlog of cases. "Just give the guy 5, she said into her headset, then smiled and frowned at him all at once. She was a talker and a screamer. "The boys are getting antsy. We're about 20 minutes behind. What'd she say back there?" "You know I can't tell you that," Diaz said after a sip. "Well, she ate into our buffer. But the chat is getting hot. Lots of speculation." Diaz took another pull of coffee, unable to savor the warmth. But it jolted him. "Maybe I was wrong to push so hard with the gov to remove the cameras when I started. Do people already forget what goes on back there?" Diaz asked between sips. "These are people who are about to face their maker. I hear you." The woman shook her head at Diaz. She wasn't talking to him. "Yes, we're moving." She reached out and ushered him toward the door, holding out her other hand to take his coffee. "I'll have another one waiting for you. Try to ask less questions, or whatever it is you do back there. We got that guy who got double-gamed." "Who?" he asked. She looked at him surprised. "The famous husband and wife episode. The ones who killed their son." Diaz stopped walking. Even he'd heard about that case. "We're expecting it to be the biggest takeover since episode 1. The woman was still walking. When she realized he wasn't moving, she turned to him, looked at her watch. "My clothes," he said, realizing he hadn't dressed yet. "They're waiting for you on the next soundstage. You can put them on there so you can take them off."
Slipping between borders seemed to be her birthright. No matter how large the wall, there was always a way to slip through. Boyer's mother had found a way during 46, before Paris, before the Phos. What seemed like another lifetime ago. She didn't know then, how everything was about to change, not just for her. Was too young to know or to care, barely able to see outside the caravan of human misery that brought her north. There was a narrow window of time to slip through the crack in the wall before the borders shut. They all knew that, and so they took the risk. Her mother trusted the wrong coyote, but they got in.
Ever since the suitcase nuke in Paris, when Europe was brought to its knees, the world knew turmoil. When the secret organization of terrorists promised to inflict similar violence on major cities around the world, one each year, turmoil became chaos. Governments reeled, not only to recover from the environmental fallout from Paris, but from the economic destruction and social fragmentation created by the new state of fear. The peace of the previous century was gone, as if overnight, and the semblance and order, known throughout the 21st century, started to fade like sand through the calloused hands of time. When Beijing was hit, all hell broke loose. The suitcase nuke that went off in the Forbidden City blew apart the narrative that China was a secret hand behind the European attack. Diaz was busy investigating predator priests when the nuke went off at Sacré-Cœur. Lucky for him, he was in North America. Governments reacted the way governments do. Every response brought the hammer. Every problem looked like a nail. The surveillance state became even more entrenched. Invasive oversight the accepted norm. It was a tech oligarch's dream scenario. It accelerated the integration of new technology into all aspects of life. Automation, drones and robotics, artificial intelligence. But if it was a dream era for technocrats, it was the security state's glory day. And a journalist's dream. Diaz was there to cover it all. The U.S. scrambled to maintain its dominance and protect global assets, especially oil and water reserves, which they feared would be the next target after the symbolic destruction of the City of Lights. Canada, with its close proximity to the United States, was the major threat for the next nuclear strike. Rich in natural resources, especially oil, lumber, and water. And due to the tech boom of the late 21st century in the Green Belt near Toronto, which was becoming a key center of global data storage and digital infrastructure, the northern nation was a key political player. Since 1947, Canada had become a proverbial satellite of the U.S. government. Now it was the crown jewel. It was inevitable that tech giants and the military complex would become an efficient hybrid. Against this backdrop of global upheaval and local lawlessness, as every man and family and city had to fight for its own survival, the games emerged to reintroduce social control. Diaz was dropped like a single drop of blood on the sharp horn of this terrible altar. A cruel twist of fate, God's unveiling, mysterious plan. When the corridor walls started to be built, it was stunning how quickly that plan worked.
Thanks for listening to this portion of The 49 by Andrew Kooman. New content drops for paid subscribers every Monday at the49.substack.com. That's the49.substack.com. On Tuesdays, we release new audio on all your favorite podcast platforms. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you subscribe and to share it with a friend. Thanks for listening to The 49.